The woman has been dancing for 3 days and she will not stop. You're standing in the July heat on a stone street in Strasbourg, and Frau Troffea is still moving. Her feet are bleeding through her shoes. The cobblestones beneath her are dark with it. She's not celebrating. She's not performing. Her face is locked in something between concentration and terror, and her body will not let her stop moving. It's 15:18, and you've just watched this woman dance through sunset, through the night, through sunrise, and into the next day, without pause. Her husband tried to hold her. She thrashed free and kept dancing. The priest came. She danced around him. They brought her water, and she drank while her feet kept moving, kept that terrible rhythm that has no music. This is July 14th. By July 17th, 34 people are dancing with her. You watch them join a man in a butcher's apron, stumbles into the street and begins. A woman drops her market basket and her body jerks into movement. Then another, then 5 more. They're not holding hands, they're not in formation. Each person is dancing alone, but they're all dancing and none of them can stop. The city council calls an emergency meeting. These are serious men, practical men, and they're watching their neighbors dance themselves into convulsions in the town square. One council member suggests demonic possession. Another says it's a curse. The city physician examines the dancers, finds their pulses racing, their pupils dilated, their muscles locked in movement they cannot control. He has no explanation that fits his training. By August, 400 people are dancing. You can hear them now from every quarter of the city. The sound of 400 pairs of feet on stone, the ragged breathing, the occasional scream when someone falls and keeps dancing on their knees. The city smells like sweat and blood and fear. Strasbourg has 15,000 people and 400 of them cannot stop moving. The deaths start in the second week. Heart attacks first. A man in his 30s drops mid-step and the dancers move around his body. Then strokes. Then pure exhaustion. The dancers don't seem to notice the bodies. They step over them. The city starts removing corpses from the dancing grounds every morning. No one's keeping an exact count, but you've seen at least 15 bodies carried away, and you know there are more. The city council makes a decision that will baffle historians for 500 years. They decide the cure for the dancing is more dancing. They hire musicians, build stages, convert 2 guild halls into dancing venues. They're creating infrastructure for mass death. The logic, as the council physician explains it, is that the dancers have hot blood. Dancing will expel the heat. They must dance it out of their systems. So, the city of Strasbourg, facing the worst outbreak of involuntary dancing in recorded history, organizes official dance venues and pays professional musicians to play for people who are dying on their feet. The music starts at dawn, drums and pipes and hurdy-gurdies filling the air. The dancers respond like puppets to strings. They move faster, more people join. The stages are slick with blood and sweat, and the musicians keep playing because the city is paying them to play. You're watching a woman dance. She's maybe 20. Her face is grey. She's been moving for 6 days. Her feet are no longer feet. They're pulped, meat wrapped in shredded fabric. She's looking at you, directly at you, and her eyes are begging you to make it stop. But her body keeps the rhythm, keeps that terrible, mindless beat. And you realize no one in this city knows what's happening. Not the physicians, not the priests, not the council. They're treating the symptom with the disease itself. They've turned a plague into a festival, and the dancing continues. Relentless, impossible, spreading through Strasbourg like something alive. Something is catastrophically wrong, and the people in charge are making it worse. The city physician decides the dancers need better shoes. Not medicine, not rest, shoes. He commissions the cobblers to work through the night, crafting soft leather slippers, reinforced at the heel, because he's observed that many dancers are collapsing from foot injuries. If we can just keep their feet intact, they'll dance themselves back to health. The cobblers comply. They're being paid double. By morning, there are 43 pairs of dancing shoes stacked outside the guild hall, and the dancers are fitted with them between sets, like athletes being tended between rounds. The shoes last maybe an hour before they're soaked through. Meanwhile, the city council convenes again. They're facing a logistics problem now. The original wooden stages are splintering. The musicians are exhausted. They've been playing in shifts for nearly 2 weeks, and even with rotating crews, they're running out of competent lute players. So the council does what any reasonable governing body would do. They commission a second stage, then a third. They hire musicians from neighboring villages, offering wages that would normally fund a month of garrison supplies. They're creating infrastructure for a catastrophe they don't understand. One council member suggests maybe they should stop the music just for a day. See what happens. He's outvoted 7-1. The majority opinion, recorded in the city ledger, states that halting the cure mid-treatment would be medically irresponsible and likely to cause a relapse into more violent dancing. They actually believe that controlled dancing is preventing something worse. They think they're managing it. By July 24th, the dancer count pushes past 200. The death toll is climbing, though the official records are getting sloppy. It's hard to count bodies when the bodies are constantly moving. The city starts zoning the dancing. Certain streets are now designated plague streets, and if you're afflicted, you're directed to dance there. There are routes. There's a system emerging. Strasbourg is organizing its own apocalypse with the efficiency of German civic planning. They post signs. They assign city guards to keep the dancers from wandering into residential areas where they might disturb people trying to sleep. At night, when you'd think the dancing would stop, it doesn't. The torches are lit. The music continues. Stand on the cathedral steps, and you see all 3 stages at once, flickering islands of movement in the darkness. And the sound of drums and pipes rolls through the streets like a physical presence, like something you can feel in your chest. Children can't sleep, neither can their parents. The whole city is operating on a collective exhaustion so profound that normal decision-making has become impossible. A priest named Father Lorenz begins performing exorcisms on the dancers. Not sanctioned exorcisms, just him, on his own, grabbing dancers mid-step and shouting Latin at them while throwing holy water. It doesn't work. The dancers spin away from him, still moving, water dripping from their hair, and he starts screaming that the devil is in Strasbourg, that Satan himself has possessed the city, and 2 altar boys have to physically drag him back to the church. The bishop hears about this and releases a statement. The statement says that demons are not involved, that this is a natural medical phenomenon caused by hot blood, and that the religious community should not interfere with the physician's treatment. The church and the state are in perfect alignment. Keep them dancing. On July 28th, a man dies mid-step on the central stage. Not from exhaustion, not from injury. He just stops, drops, dead, before he hits the wood. The music doesn't stop. The other dancers don't stop. They step over him. They dance around his body for 6 full minutes before anyone removes it, because the musicians were told not to pause the music under any circumstances, and the guards were told not to interrupt the dancers. His name was Hans Decker. He was a grain merchant. He'd been dancing for 11 days. They carry his body to the edge of the stage, and the dancing continues. And here's what makes it so much worse. Nobody panics. The crowd that's gathered to watch, because there's always a crowd now. This is entertainment. This is the only thing happening in Strasbourg. They barely react. Someone dying during the dancing plague is not surprising anymore. It's expected. By the end of July, at least 15 people have died this way. Still, the city council votes to expand the music program. A fourth stage is approved, but the fourth stage is never built. Not because anyone realizes the cure is failing, because they run out of musicians. After weeks of playing while people collapse in front of them, many are exhausted. Some can barely move their hands. On August 4th, the music finally stops. The dancing does not. 17 people are still moving when the stages fall silent. Without instruments, they dance only to the sound of their own footsteps on wood and stone. 3 more die that day. Only then does the council act. Public dancing is banned. The stages are dismantled, and the remaining dancers are taken away. On August 8th, the final victims are brought to the shrine of St. Vitus in Saverne. The dancers are barely able to walk. Their feet are badly injured after weeks of movement. One of them is the woman who started it all. Frau Troffea is still alive. Even during the journey, her body refuses to rest. At the shrine, a priest performs a ritual that had not been used for many years. One by one, the dancers are brought before a consecrated stone. Prayers are spoken, small wooden crosses are placed in their hands, and they are told that the suffering is not their fault. Within 2 days, the dancing stops. By August 15th, the outbreak known today as the Dancing Plague of 1518 is over. Around 40 people are confirmed dead, possibly more. And even after 5 centuries, historians still cannot fully explain what caused it. Some believe it was ergot poisoning, a fungus that grows on rye and can trigger convulsions and hallucinations. Others believe it was mass psychogenic illness, a collective response to the extreme hardship people were living through. Strasbourg in 1518 had endured famine, disease, and deep poverty. Life was fragile, uncertain, and full of fear. Perhaps the human mind simply reached its limit, or perhaps something stranger happened that summer. But one detail remains impossible to ignore. For weeks, an entire city watched its neighbors dance themselves to exhaustion. And the solution chosen by those in charge was not to stop the dancing. It was to organize it. Stages were built, musicians were hired, schedules were created, all in the belief that it would help. 500 years later, the cause of the dancing plague remains a mystery. But the lesson it leaves behind
must find a way to
is far
stop
less
this
mysterious.
madness.
Sometimes
We have
the most
tried,
dangerous mistakes in
but the
history
dancing is
are not
making it
made out
worse.
of
Look at the
cruelty.
map.
We
They are
must
made by
contain it
people
to the Rue du
who are
Bain.
certain
Contain
they are
it.
doing the right thing.